Okay, we're back. Let's see what's inside this altar. A fine wand. Cool. Let's give that to Aloth. Let's give this to Aloth as well. And what's this? Wizard's Double to Aloth. Now I believe this whole area is thoroughly explored. So let's go back down here. And retrieve a camping supply. And rest. You awake to see Durance, his staff held in both of his hands before him. A flame flickers at its top, casting long shadows across his face as he stares in contemplation. Still, for the light of the fire, your eyes can't focus on him. Perhaps it is awakening from sleep or a trick of the light, but he seems indistinct, blurred around the edges, everything except for the staff. The staff, he seems to be studying its engravings. As you watch, the engravings grow thinly red, like through cracks of heat-suffused wood. The lines stream like molten metal burning along the edges of his staff, then branch out in an intricate series of fiery veins, bunching thickly where his hands clutch the wood, pulsing as if a heartbeat. As you watch, the veins spiral into a dozen separate circles, circles that spiral again until they are arranged in a circle of their own. They pulse, wait, and all is strangely silent. And then suddenly there is a great light from the fire, a rushing of air, a great flash, and you awaken again to see Durance in the same place, still holding the staff. But he is solid, real. He doesn't seem to have noticed you or reacted to what occurred. Was this just a vision, or did it really happen? We need to discuss our vision with Durance. Just a second, let's... Okay, we got that back. Now, Durance, does something ail you? I had questions I wanted to ask you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
I saw something strange. You were sitting by the fire, and I saw a great light from your staff.
Tell me what you saw.
It was a flash like an explosion, a rushing of air, incredibly bright.
It is the light of the Godhammer you saw.
The Godhammer, what about it?
It was a weapon of Deerwood's people, a symbol of their independence. It saved the Deerwood.
What do you know about it?
It brought the Saints' War to an end, knocked a god from his perch. There are few that would deny Eothas overstepped. The Godhammer reminded Eothas of it.
Are you telling me that Durance's staff is the Godhammer?
You saw its light because I helped shape it, give it life, and release it into the world. Once seen, its glory is almost too bright to be believed, and too bright to be forgotten.
You helped build the Godhammer?
There were 12 of us. We fashioned the weapon, drafted plans for it, prayed for guidance at Ashfall, and it came to me there. Each of us were given a staff made from the forest of black trees around us, glowing with embers and fire far greater than this branch you see now. It felt as if the staff was Margaren's own finger, guiding my hand, guiding the other 11, the shadows of the 12 who would come to stand on the bridge to stop Eothas.
Shadows of the 12?
Even in that stand, there was a ritual to it. For the 12 that stood on the bridge, there were a dozen shadows cast, a dozen faithful of Margren, her fiercest supporters and shapers of the Godhammer.
So this is really like a battle of the gods. Magran is the goddess of war and fire and destruction. Durance rests the staff in front of him and the flame atop it curls for a moment, the light flaring slightly. It splits into a ring of flames, one after the other, until a dozen is met.
As 12 held Aethys fast, we 12 unleashed our prayers and let the Godhammer fall.
Then it blossoms brightly once and resumes its candle intensity. In the aftermath, the shadows seem sharper in the vicinity, as if they have edges, and you blink to clear your vision. Durance is still staring at the tiny candle-like flame intently.
Shadows cast by the fire of the Godhammer, perhaps. We shared their fate as well in time. Now the spine of the Deerwood is marked by the Godhammer, marked by Magran.
Durance frowns and moves his gaze from the staff. What do you mean, shared their fates?
Not all deaths come with stilled breath and stilled heart, or other stilled passions beneath the waste. Some deaths come from silence. The connection we once shared with Magran. After the light of the Godhammer, it was not the same. It was as if we'd lost our senses, and sense of purpose as well. Instead of victory being welcomed, there was silence, within and without. Not many can claim to have killed a god. It is less a heroic tale than you would think. And such a death, it changed our faith. All faiths, I expect. Doubt followed, and the world changed. I do not believe Magran was pleased by what we had done.
Why is that?
The world is broken, the wheel stilled. There is sickness in the world's heart. Perhaps the price of crossing a god. Crossing two gods. Even as Magran shaped our hands, perhaps we carried her will farther than was allowed. Just as Widewind did. Saint Widewind. Mortal arrogance to match mortal arrogance. Yet if the world had changed, then I sought to change with it. If I had forgotten some of Magran's teachings, I would find them again. I would make her see me again.
What did you do?
I remembered Magran's teachings. How reminders on the flesh were more important than the death of a vessel. And I wondered if killing Aethys, if that had simply set him free. Had it allowed him to escape his punishment and be taken on the wheel? Like a mortal? As I stepped from the now blessed Godhammer Bridge, I thought of Ashfall. I thought of the War of Black Trees. Wondered if I needed to be burned to find myself again. That is Magran at her heart. At least that is my hope. These are the doubts that befall me.
What happened when you returned to Ashfall?
The road to Ashfall is long. Gives one time to think. If you think long enough, you do not go home. I left without telling anyone, with only the robes I wore at Halgot, my staff, and my name, which is long buried. Of my fellow 11 craftsmen, disciples, I know not what happened to them, if they suffered the same doubt as I did. But it was underserved. It was wrong. We had done all that Hor had asked. Grab victory from defeat and...
You feel as if your god had betrayed you.
There is something about being used and cast aside. Perhaps Widewen himself felt it. There at the end, when the hammer struck. To be the proof that your god is hollow as the vessel it inhabits.
Widewind was the avatar for Eothas. A god that I think, Eder still worships.
I tried to find purpose. and avoided all contact with other Magranic priests, did not seek the walls of Ashfall, and sought to make amends to my god through actions. I joined with the Purges for a time, and not long after came the first signs of the Hollowborn. So many crimes, trespasses, violations. The Salvation. Animancers were another sickness born of the Saints' War. A relapse of innovation, of desperation to heal what we had caused. All seemed worse than before the bridge, not better. And as years passed, the world became even worse still for the victory.
Maybe the purges weren't what Magron wanted either. Sweat collects in the sooty creases of his forehead and runs down his ruddy cheeks. It drips from the tip of his nose. His mouth moves, but his utterances make no sound. He is for once at a loss. Feeling your gaze, he quickly composes himself, wiping his forehead with the back of a dirty hand.
Worship the whims of some fickle bitch, and you'll never be more than dirt beneath her feet. Worship what she worships, on the other hand. Take her fire for your own, and her esteem comes on its own. Of course, by that time you no longer need it. Trial and transformation, sure as Durance taught.
Durance glares at you, and staring into his eyes gives you the feeling of peering over the edge of a great cliff.
You think to put the coals to my feet, but what's burned once will never burn again. These talks are your trial, Watcher. You cannot deflect the truth to one who has already been purified by it.
Tell me what happened on the bridge. We chose the bridge because we could control it. Durance's hands tightened at the top of his staff, as if holding it by the neck. It was a place where we could choke Eothas in his own footsteps, where we knew his feet would fall, a narrow neck of stone. But it was more than that. It was a spine of the deerwood, symbolic of its backbone. Such symbols are important in the construction of a weapon. Durance studies his staff, his eyes traveling along the etchings. Any weapon. I wonder if the bridge we're going to go to was that same bridge. Durance's face hardens and his eyes burn, his eyebrows narrowing. I suspect Eothas knew that as well, and so did his vessel in its arrogance. His hand tightens on the staff. He intended to walk upon the bridge as if walking on the backs of the deerwood, and we intended to burn him with the light of our faith and his. 12 on the bridge, 12 in the shadow, and gave ourselves to it. Gaves yourselves to it.
We put much of ourselves into the Godhammer. Such a device is not simply a machine. There are elements of the spirit in it. Even Widewind's spirit.
Widewind, why?
We all studied Widewind. He was our enemy, and he had provided the flesh the god wore as a cloak. That flesh made him vulnerable. I knew what fields his hands had tilled, his family, what he had harvested, where he had been born. We sought to know him, what had led him to fight us.
Why was that important?
You don't kill the god. You kill the man it inhabits. And you leave that man a ruin. Burn him to ash. The weapon was meant to not only burn his flesh, but it would burn his soul. And it did. At the cost of our own. And at the cost of our goddess's favor. That whore be damned.
So he worships a goddess, but he calls her a whore. He has a love-hate relationship with Magron, or Magron. It sounds like you fell victim to your own weapon.
Perhaps your eyes were blinded by the truth of the Godhammer, Watcher. I feel half a man at times, but even that is twice that of most others. If you fear for my spirit, your fears are baseless. The Godhammer, seeing its light, only fueled my anger and made me stronger. made me re-examine the teachings of Margren, put them in a new light.
It looked as if there was only part of you, as if your spirit had been sheared in half.
I do not need you to cast any more questions on me, Watcher. Nor did I ask you to look upon me without my leave. Get gone, and leave me be.
Fine, Durance. Continue to get to know Durance. Okay. This might have been the very bridge where Waidwen, the avatar of Eothas, perished when he was hit by the staff that was the Godhammer. Oh, South Curtain wall construction completed. Minor adventure completed. She returns to the stronghold with money. The spoils await you in the Great Hall treasury chest. South wall curtain completed. Let's build some more fortifications. Let's build the west curtain wall. Provides the Bailey with protection from forces from the west. Let's do that. And let's kill this creature. Let's work on... Oh, we've leveled up. Holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna level up off camera. Or maybe I should do a little bit on camera. Okay, let's do it on camera. Let's first start with Gradius. We'll improve his athletics, survival. Okay, survival. Now let's see. What are implements? Oh, wands, scepters, and rods. You know what? I'm gonna do this off camera. I'll be back. Okay, we're back. I basically improved Ydir's defense with some sword and shield style. Gradius, I forgot. Durance, I forgot. Um, got a new chant for Kana, a new ability to summon. What are they called? Will-o-wisps. And Aloth, he has like disengage bonuses now. So let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And what does the flame reveal? Khan Sawu.
Yes?
What?
These guys are so weak compared to us now. I guess we should have been at this location a while ago.
Right.
We're so powerful, I feel I don't even have to sneak. Let's just, like, just march right in there. Alright, we'll leave him alone for now. The frayed end of the rope drifts in the river. That would just be slaughter.
That over there? That'd be the easy way to get to Defiance Bay. Before the floods, anyway.
Another Kickstarter backer. Alright, so... I don't know. Is that all to it? Damn looters can't be bothered to find an honest wage. Hold on, before I talk to you, I must pick this mushroom. Okay. Paragon. Curse my luck, the woman mutters, kicking her foot into the ground and upturning a clod of soil. As you approach, her ears twitch as she turns to greet you. Hail, traveler, she says with a half-hearted hand wave. The bridge to Defiance Bay is out. If that's where you're headed, you'll need to find another route. She's a poet. What are you doing here? I'd been attempting to turn a quick copper, but she bites her lip, her face turning flush with anger. Just my luck, the blasted currents threw my ferry onto the rocks, dashed it and my profits to pieces. Making matters worse, when I went to prowl the shore to salvage whatever shipping crates didn't sink, a pair of looters attacked me. She stomps her foot into the ground. The damn brigands had the nerve to attack. I managed to avoid harm, but now they have stolen by force all that is left to my fortune. She eyes you for a long second, her hand cupping her chin. You know, you look like you'd fare better against those looters than little old me. Could I enlist your help? I will take a look. Paragon smiles widely, her ears picking up. Thank you, I'm sure those thugs have made a mess of my stock, and maybe there's something there to be saved. Okay. Now let's go back to the looters. We'll probably have to kill them. Gathered around the soggy timbers of a shipwreckage, men and women pick through the driftwood, snatching muddy silverware, moldy clothes, chipped pottery, and anything that they can spot among the detritus. All eyes turn to you as you approach. The group trade nervous stares at you until at last a woman in muddy clothes steps forward and speaks. Maybe we could avoid this. Where are Bretel and Terran? She asks. They were just up along that path, and we heard fighting. Her eyes narrow and a hand moves toward a knife on her belt as she anticipates your reply. They attacked us. It was a matter of self-defense. You killed them! It's not going to end well. You speak of self-defense while we are defending ourselves from this storm. Her voice rises and her face grows flushed with emotion. The floods took our entire farm. We have nothing left. Nothing. No food, no roof, and now I don't even have my cousins. She throws her hands up in despair. We don't want to fight you. We have lost enough already. Please just leave us. I came here investigating some missing cargo. Looting, but this is a wreck. What value does it have? The men and women all turn to her, their faces frightened and worried. Please, we need these supplies dearly. The storm took everything from us. It is not our desire to steal, but we are destitute. Should we let these wares just sink to the river bottom? Can I help? Perhaps you could tell the merchant you found nothing beyond bits of driftwood. From her point of view, it will be as if the river washed it all away. Besides, how much copper will she really make by selling these rotting clothes and soiled wares? I'll see what I can do. I mean, we're born a slave. We know what it means to survive at all costs. Thank you, she sighs, wiping sweat from her brow. You are the first turn of good fortune to come our way in a very long time. Hanwin snaps her fingers at one of her comrades and points to a pile of supplies drying in the sun. We don't have much, but take this as a token of our thanks. I picked through the wreckage, but I found nothing salvageable. It must have washed away. She kicks her foot into the dirt several times. I figured just as much. Well, thank you for your assistance. I suppose I need to figure out how I'll recover my investment. At last her foot stops kicking and she lets out a long sigh. Thanks for trying. If you find yourself in Defiance Bay, search out my shop. I'll need all the customers I can get. Okay. That guy was a little tougher.
Mm-hmm.
How may I help?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes? What?
Huh?
Hey.
How may I help?
Yes?
Let's slow this battle down by pressing S.
How may I help?
Yeah.
Yes?
Do we have a flame spell? Let's try one of these new 3rd level spells.
Hey.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes?
Hey.
Not even start now! Got him.
How may I help?
Hey! Ah!
This thing isn't doing the job.
Ah! Blast! Ah! Ah!
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey! Ah!
We handled that pretty well.
Right.
We're quite the party now. Okay, it looks like Durance just leveled up, so I'm gonna do this off camera. I'll be right back. Nah, we'll do it on camera. We'll level up his athletics and his survival. Modifies Holy Radiance for 20 burn damage over 3 seconds versus Will. That's pretty good. One per encounter. Dazed for 8.1 seconds. Passive, plus 10 accuracy with Sword and Arquebus. No. Modifies Holy Radiance. More healing and more might and constitution. That's great. Wow, look at all that. That's something. Modifies Holy Radiance for plus 5 accuracy. Alright, I think we're gonna do this Holy Radiance. Oh, but it's only for 10 seconds. That's no good. Foe AoE dazed for 8.1 seconds. Let's go with a bonus 2nd level spell. No, let's go Let's go with... more burn damage with Holy Radiance. How about that? Okay.
I shall be discreet.
Did we explore all? Uh-oh, let's slow this down. No, this is easy. But let's kill the High Priest.
Yes?
Yes?
Hey.
I? I?
Tina was taking a bunch of damage, but she went in there first, so that's understandable.
On your word.
Right.
Nice and quiet.
Okay, so that bridge is explored. Let's make our way to Deerford Village. And this next village we're going to is actually, when the beta came out, people were playing 5th level characters entering that village. What is it? Something's going on in our... We just lost 400 copper pieces. Let's manually resolve this attack. You must travel the... We've got to go back to Cadnua. Okay, in our next episode, we're going to go back to Cadnua and manually resolve this attack. I'll see you next time.